Hey everybody, Sam here, also known as Mr. Stainless, and we are back talking about State of Decay 2, and as the screen behind me would suggest, we are talking about the patch 2.0 that just came out for the game last week, along with the Independence Pack. I'm going to be going through the patch notes as we do for all of the major patches, picking out some of the key points, the key changes, and giving you my thoughts on them as well. As always with these patch note videos, I would love to know your thoughts down below on whether your experience of the game has changed, if you notice any changes, or if the game is running smoother, or anything like that. Let me know your thoughts on the patch down in the comments below. Now, there's a lot of cool things that were added in this patch. It only ranked in at around 7 gigs or so. I think that was the download that I got, maybe 7.5. But there's a lot of stuff that they've changed and a lot of new content that they've added as well. Right here at the top, this is all of the new. This is all of the new content, and there's quite a bit in this. So the first one, which is quite cool, is the Revolutionary War zombies can now appear in the game world, and you should already notice this. This is kind of to coincide with the Independence Pack. If you want to see what the Revolutionary War zombies look like, I'll leave an annotation up in the top right of the screen there. You can go through and check out my Independence Pack run-through video, and I show off the Revolutionary War zombies there. They're really cool and really cute, especially the ones with the wigs. Now, aside from that, the one thing from this new content that I'm most excited about are the 20 new missions that they've added. They've got 10 new Ambient Missions which can occur as players explore the map, 7 Enclave missions expanding the stories that can be told about neighbouring groups, and 3 Community missions offering new options for your group to solve crucial problems. The reason why this is so important for me is because as a player I'm a sucker for the story, and especially because State of Decay 1, I love the story so much there. It's been very jarring, I guess. It's been a very different experience with State of Decay 2, kind of playing the game and having the presence of the story be much less, much more in the background. And for me, the story missions make it. And one thing that I had been feeling in my first playthrough of State of Decay 2 is that the story just seemed a little bit fetch mission quest-y, if that makes any sense. There wasn't, I didn't find any missions that had any kind of gravitas to them or any weight. Now that I'm playing through my second playthrough, and it could have just been the RNG, but during my second playthrough I'm noticing there's a lot more of a connection in the missions that I'm playing, and there's much more of a story to the missions I'm playing as well. The fact that they're actually adding these new missions, for me, shows that it seems dedicated to adding more story content, even in this form, over the game's life cycle, and for me that's really exciting. I hope that they continue to do that. I would love to see them even introduce new legacy missions as well. That could be something that they do later on down the line, but more of this. Definitely a massive thumbs up from me. Next, we've got a ton of new guns and weapons added for all of you gun nuts out there. So as they said, new red Talon networks added to the game, the Danforth Slugger, the Trumbull Gatekeeper. Over on the Undead Labs official Discord, I have seen Survivor LDG, asking quite a bit to see if anybody has found this yet. So if you have found the Trumbull Gatekeeper, let us know down in the comments below. I know Survivor would love to hear that. But a lot of cool weapons added. I haven't come across any of them yet as far as I'm aware, but most likely they'll be able to be bought from the traders. The last thing here in the new content that I think is quite cool is that there's now a new rare books trader that can appear every few in-game days. At the moment, you can buy books from him for about 1,500 influence, and as they've said there, the key ones that they're highlighting are Driving, Lycanology, Fishing, and Scrum Master. One thing I would love to see though is, as opposed to a rare books trader, just a book trader in general. There may actually already be one. I don't really go to the traders that much, but the fact that we've got a rare books trader I think will be really useful, especially for those players who are struggling to find those higher tier skill books. Aside from that, we're on to the game improvements. Only a few things I want to highlight here. One of them is this: additional improvements to doors so that their state matches their appearance. This is something that has been, if you've been reading any of the patch notes, this is cropping up in all of them. It seems to be a bit of a sticky issue, but great to see that they're still working on that, and hopefully a finite fix for that comes soon. One thing I have noticed as well here, additional improvements to mounting of ladders, including better interaction when players strafing and interaction from the tops of ladders. Since the patch 2.0, I've actually noticed mounting ladders is stranger. There'll be times where I walk up to a ladder and they don't mount. I don't know if this is just because of the patch. Maybe there is some more ironing out there. But I found ladder climbing a little bit more frustrating since the patch. One important thing for those of you who like taking on specials, the Juggernaut has been adapted as well. So ground slam collision volume has been reduced by roughly 25%, so that'll be good for all of you. A little bit of a nerf. Added a half-second cooldown to the Juggernaut's initiation of its finishing move, and players can start a finishing move earlier in a Juggernaut's stagger animation. So a little bit of a nerf for the Juggernaut. I'm totally sure why the Juggernaut has been nerfed. Has there been complaints that it was too difficult? I don't know. One other thing that I think is super important, I nearly missed this, and this is one of the things I want to talk about, was that they've added a confirm option before euthanizing community members. I think that's... yes, thank you. I have not yet euthanized a community member, but I think for those players who like clicking on the euthanize option just to see what happens, I think this gives them a final kind of like, are you sure, totally sure you want to do this? So yes, spot on for doing that. I'm not sure if that's something they should put in for the exile option as well. To be fair, I think the exile option, you kind of exile them in the community screen, and then you have the choice to go over and talk to them. I think you can back out at that point as well. But definitely for the euthanize option, I think that's a really good introduction. Aside from that, sniper towers now count as watchtowers for morale purposes. Spot on. And I know a lot of people have been requesting something like this since the game came out. They've now added a toggle in the video options menu on both PC and Xbox that allows players to control the amount of motion blur seen in-game. For me, I've had no problems with motion blur. It doesn't really affect me that much, but I know a lot of the people in the community have been requesting that they have a toggle for that. So great to hear that they've been listening on that. Then moving on to multiplayer, two things that have affected me in multiplayer, the people who've joined my games, is things going invisible. And the key thing is the supply logger. I think it's great that they are working on this one, because the supply logger, when you're in a multiplayer game not as the host, the supply logger is invaluable. So the fact that that had been going invisible and wasn't accessible by other players was a massive red flag. So great to see that they are aware of that and are fixing it. And hopefully this will be a permanent fix. So next, moving on to gameplay fixes and patches, the Magnum ammo press facility mod now correctly produces .357 and .44 ammo. There was a bug, a few of you had brought this up in the comments as well, and over in the Discord, that there was a bug that connected the press to 50 cal and 40mm ammo as well. So again, that has been fixed. Hopefully you guys should be seeing that in your games now. One other thing to note here in the gameplay changes is that Ferals and Juggernauts now have the ability to kill NPCs with their spatial attacks. So be very aware of that. Don't just abandon NPCs to be fighting those specials for you. They're now under just as much danger as you are. One other thing that I want to just finish off with that isn't actually mentioned in the patch notes is that they did nerf the 50 cal. Not against zombies and specials, but only against blood plague hearts. I'm surprised it could have been in there. I didn't see it, but I'm surprised if it isn't in the patch notes. They did talk about this on the Independence Pack stream that they did. So for those of you who have been stocking up on 50 cal ammo and using that to take down blood plague hearts with like 2 rounds, it will no longer do that. They have nerfed the 50 cal. So specifically for that reason. So the 50 cal will still do the same amount of damage against zombies, against specials, and against human targets. The only thing they've nerfed the damage against are blood plague hearts. So at the moment, as far as we're aware, the most powerful thing that you can take down a blood plague heart with now is C4. It takes about 2 C4 packs to destroy a blood plague heart. But just know that from patch 2.0, the 50 cal has been nerfed against blood plague hearts. And folks, that is it. That is all of the kind of key points that I wanted to share with you from patch 2.0. I think there's a lot of stuff in this update. I think it's great to see how much is in it. And I hope, like I said, that we see a lot more story missions being added to the game as we go forward. But I would love to know your thoughts on the patch. Have you noticed the game become smoother? What do you think of the stuff that they've changed? What do you think of the 50 cal nerf? Let me know down in the comments below. But if this is the first time you've come across my channel and you love State of Decay 2, hit the subscribe button down below. I upload at least 2 State of Decay 2 videos every week to keep you guys notified about the coming apocalypse. But until next time, have a great week. I'll speak to you all soon.